Peace to you. Thanks for joining me today for our Midweek Message. And whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening to our podcast, it's my hope that you'll find this time blessing to you. I'm Matt Henderson, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Clarkesville, Georgia. Today we continue with our series, Wisdom is Calling, Uncommon Sense for the Church Today. We're exploring three collections of biblical wisdom: Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Job. We're exploring today the words of advice that Job's friends come to offer him as he mourns the tragic loss of his family and all of his belongings and possessions. For a week, 7 days, 7 nights, they sat in the dust with him. They cried with him. They mourned his loss. For a week, they were silent. Then Job is the first to break the silence, which is appropriate. These friends know enough to wait until Job is ready before they offer their sagely advice. Yet you'll find out that they don't seem to be wise enough to offer any true words of compassion. There are 3 friends who have sat with Job: Eliphaz, Zophar, and Bildad. Each take turns now offering their speeches in defense. But in whose defense do they speak? Their own? God? Or do they speak in defense of wisdom, of order, of orthodoxy? We'll only be hearing from Eliphaz today. He speaks first. He seems to be the leader of the group, speaks the most, and much of what the others offer is simply a reiteration of what he says. And while the exchanges between Job and his 3 friends go on for 40 chapters, I'll only be looking at the first exchange today. I believe you'll be able to get the tone of the argument. I want you to first remember that Job has cried out, cursing the day he was born. He wishes he was never born, never conceived. He longs for his uncreation. We'll pick up at Job chapter 4. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered, "If one ventures a word with you, will you be offended? But who can keep from speaking?" He says, "Hey now, you said some pretty powerful things. I can't just sit here and silently and take it. See, you have instructed many. You have strengthened the weak hands. Your words have supported those who were stumbling. You have made firm the feeble knees. But now it has come to you, and you are impatient. It touches you, and you are dismayed." He's saying, you've offered your own wisdom in times of people's trouble. It would only be fair if someone were here to help you. So don't worry. We're here to help. Verse 6. "Is not your fear of God your confidence, and the integrity of your ways your hope?" You're Job, the God-fearer. Come on. Don't give up now. Think now. Who that was innocent ever perished? Or where were the upright cut off? As I have seen, those who plow iniquity and sow trouble reap the same. By the breath of God, they perish. And by the blast of his anger, they are consumed. Eliphaz and his companions after him are quite certain of themselves and of their understanding of the world and of God. They believe there's structure, there's order. The wicked are punished. The godly are rewarded. Never has there ever been, nor ever will there ever be any difference. They live in a black and white world. Yet for Job, he feels otherwise. He doesn't deserve this. He's been an advocate for the needy, eyes for the blind. He's upright. He fears God. And we too know something that Eliphaz and the gang don't know. How this tragedy that has befallen Job is part of something bigger, something more mysterious than even Job can comprehend. That there are cosmic forces at work. We wonder, are they at work for Job's good? Nevertheless, Eliphaz continues, and we now pick up his advice in chapter 5. He says, "As for me, I would seek God, and to God I would commit my cause. He does great things, and unsearchable, marvelous things without number. He gives rain on the earth, and sends waters on the fields. He sets on high those who are lowly, and those who mourn are lifted to safety. He frustrates the devices of the crafty so that their hands achieve no success. He takes the wise in their own craftiness, and the schemes of the wily are brought to a quick end. They meet with darkness in the daytime and grope at noonday as in the night. But he saves the needy from the sword of their mouth, from the hand of the mighty. So the poor have hope, and injustice shuts its mouth." How happy is the one whom God reproves. Therefore, do not despise the discipline of the Almighty. For he wounds, but he binds up. He strikes, but his hands heal. He will deliver you from 6 troubles. In 7 no harm shall touch you. In famine he will redeem you from death, and in war from the power of the sword. You shall be hidden from the scourge of the tongue, and shall not fear destruction when it comes. At destruction and at famine you shall laugh, and shall not fear the wild animals of the earth, for you shall be in league with the stones of the field, and the wild animals shall be at peace with you. You shall know that your tent is safe. You shall inspect your fold and miss nothing. You shall know that your descendants will be many, and your offspring like the grass of the earth. You shall come to your grave in ripe old age, as a shock of grain comes up to the threshing floor in its season. See, we've searched this out. It is true. Hear and know it for yourself. Again, these sages of wisdom, these experts of life, are quite confident in their opinions. They've searched it out. It's true. If only Job would just stop being so stubborn, insisting he was innocent. For why would God allow this to happen to the innocent? More so, Job should be happy that God is disciplining him. For God only disciplines those whom he loves. And if he didn't care, then there wouldn't be any point. He says, he wounds not to hurt, but to heal. And in all of life's trouble, God is there to help. God is there to help and deliver. So turn to God. Repent of all your great sinfulness. Tell God you're sorry for whatever you've done, and God will make it all right again. God is almighty and awesome and mysterious, but God will forgive whatever you've done. Just stop pretending that you're perfect. For 40 chapters, Job and his friends go back and forth. And we the readers are invited to take a side. With whom would we stand? From the beginning, it seems quite evident that Job's friends are out of touch. Not only are they insensitive to Job's predicament, but are steadfast in their position. We wonder, again, who are they defending? Themselves? Their own prideful perception of wisdom? Are they defending God? And does God need defending? And in this case, does God deserve defending? For they don't know what we know. As we saw in our study of Proverbs, wisdom is multi-voiced and contextual. Although it may sometimes appear to be black and white and absolute, something can be right and wrong at the same time. Proverbs 26:4 says, "Do not answer fools according to their folly, or you will be a fool yourself." It says, don't get sucked into foolish arguments. You'll just be a fool yourself. But then, that's true. But then it goes on to say, answer fools according to their folly, or they will be wise in their own eyes. It says, fools must be answered, otherwise they'll think that they're right, when in fact they could be dangerously wrong. Being wise recognizes that everything, every notion, every thought has its limits in its application and in its truth. Wisdom can be abused. Wisdom can be misapplied, misused, making it cease to be wisdom for that circumstance and even a dangerous weapon. And here, it seems that Job's friends have found themselves waving around a thorn branch like a drunkard. They've become not only unsympathetic to Job's situation, they've become dangerous in applying what they believe they know about the world and about God. Job is not just the victim of this tragic affair concerning his family and all that he has. He's also now a victim of their abusive theology. Abusing wisdom, abusing theology is not just an ancient danger, but a very real and present one also. And if ever anyone, myself included, presents themselves as the absolute, unique authority on God or theology or the Bible or any subject for that matter, you better beware. For we do not hold the controls of who God is, of what God is doing, of what God can or cannot or will not do. God is beyond comprehension, and any attempts to put God in a box will only end up limiting our relationship with God and God's ability to teach us, to reveal something new and wonderful. It appears that Job was written, I believe, as a masterful warning of how dangerous theology can be in the hands of foolish, prideful experts. Job's friends, the self-proclaimed sages of all wisdom, do Job and God and us a disservice with their absolute fundamental advice on Job's situation. If they propose to defend God, they end up offending God instead. For by elevating themselves above the tragic affair, they themselves have become fools. On Sunday, we'll hear answers from the whirlwind as God provides an answer to Job's request for an audience. The judge and defendant respond to Job's case. The verdict? we'll see. But until then, the peace of Christ be with you.